The NFC is absolutely loaded to the gills. And the AFC, I trust maybe one team, and that would be the Chiefs, assuming that they're going to get into the playoffs because of the 8 seed right now. I don't like a lot of the AFC. I absolutely love the NFC.
This is Pod to the Futures with Mitch Moss and Jonathan Von Tobel on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
What's up, folks? Thanks for joining us. Another edition of Pod to the Futures. Mitchell R. Moss alongside. I'm Jonathan Von Tobel. We were doing government names last week. What's the R stand for? The only reason I know it's an R is because in your email there is an R. You'd have your middle initial in there. You told me last week. I can't remember. What's the R?
Rodrigo.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, now you can look them up. Government name. Go get them. All right. We're here. It is Tuesday. Very much looking forward to this episode. You and I were talking about this before, and I brought this up to Stormy. I think that this was a big week in the NFL for awards. I thought there was a lot of impactful performances that either shaped markets, gave us new favorites, like across the board in almost every single award, we had a shift of some sort. And I think it's hard not to start with the most valuable player after what transpired this weekend, no?
I mean, I would think yes. I would also say that I completely disagree with the odds board.
Yes.
At this point. And this is coming from a guy who has Drake May 95-1 in pocket. I don't think he should be the favorite or the short shot. Now, the game against the Jets on Thursday, maybe he goes out there and throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns and runs for another one, whatever. And then, okay. But, there is a path where he can win, no doubt. But as of right now, what if Matthew Stafford, what if his name, all things were the same, was Patrick Mahomes?
Yep.
Right? And Mahomes and the Chiefs had 2 losses, and he had a 22 to 2 touchdown INT ratio, whatever it is for Stafford, right? That's just sick right now. He'd be odds on at this point. I don't know what the reason is here for Stafford, but clearly, JBT, now, we got to say this for 2 weeks in a row. If the season ended today, he'd be the MVP. I think he might be unanimous.
Yes. So here's my thing. And so for our audience, just doesn't have the top of their head. Drake May plus 275, Matthew Stafford 3-1, Patrick Mahomes 5-1, Jonathan Taylor 6-1, Josh Allen at 7-1. And then you get to the double digits, Sam Darnold. And then there's another steep drop off. Darnold is 10-1, Hurts is 22-1. Obviously recording this after Monday Night Football. I think, and I told this to Stormy, because you're right, I don't think the odds board is reflective of true probability of winning this. This has to be a reflection of liability, I believe. I mean, you have, what's Drake May? What do you have Drake May at? Don't you have a big number?
Yeah, 95.
Yeah, so it's not like you're at this book that we're looking at, DraftKings, but I think the whole point here is I'm sure there's a lot of people because liability on those long shots builds up quickly. Then he's having a strong year, and then you get little nibblers as it goes along. Oh, he's pretty good. Let's go 20-1. Let's go 16-1. And so that builds up quickly, and I 100% believe his status as a favorite is a result, a symptom of the liability that these books have, as opposed to what they truly believe is going to happen.
Yeah, but also I would flip it and say Stafford was sitting out there for most of the year at double-digit numbers.
Sure. Right?
And he started at 45-1 or in that range. And even a couple of weeks ago, I want to say that he was as high as 20, maybe even a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
Until I think the market finally realized, oh, wait a second here. Mahomes is not running away with it. Chiefs are struggling a little bit. Josh Allen, not so sure about that. Lamar Jackson got hurt. He missed a long time. Can we really believe a running back is going to win the award? So it took a while to adjust on everything. But even right now, I think it's a totally fake market. How would Mahomes or Josh Allen finish even in the top 5 right now?
Oh, yes. Don't get me started on Josh Allen. I mean, I think you can make a case for Patrick Mahomes. He did have a stretch of good play, whatever it is. Josh Allen, especially after this last week, I mean, we got to be done. There's no, I guess maybe you keep him at 7-1 because you don't want to have that shot out there that people are going to stack up Josh Allen tickets at the off chance he just goes on a run here and wins out. But this last performance against Miami, there's no way you can give him this MVP. I think that's an eliminator, is it not?
The whole team stunk, and he was a big reason why. And by the way, when you look at their wins, the week 1 comeback, they were dead and buried against Baltimore. That's a great win to come back and outscore them 41-40. After that, they beat the Jets, one of the worst teams in football. They beat Miami, who just got revenge on them. And Miami still stinks. I mean, the 2 recent wins are good for them, but they also
remember that Miami game. Not to cut you off. Remember, they needed wasn't it a roughing the punter call on Thursday night that saved their skin because Miami was about to get the ball back in a late game.
Miami was in it. The Saints, they were in that game late. That was in Buffalo. They already lost to Drake May and the Patriots. They got beat up pretty good against a below average here, what appears to be Atlanta. They killed Carolina. That was all James Cook. Carolina's no good. And good for him. The best game was the Chiefs. I mean, that resume is not good if you really want to pick it apart.
Yep.
And their wins and the quarterbacks they've defeated, the teams that they've defeated, for the most part, get out of here with Josh Allen. But again, books are probably like they don't want to jump him to 25-1 and say, yeah, he's not going to win. And then all of a sudden, people start to grab that number big time, creating liability. And then Josh Allen and the Bills go on a monster run to close the season.
Yep. All right, so I want to try to do a blind resume here for you. Now, audio blind resumes don't really work too well, but let's see if this works. 71.1% completion, 9.9 yards per attempt, average depth of target, 10.2 yards downfield, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and over 2,200 yards. The second highest graded quarterback in the NFL by PFF standards from a passing standpoint. Would you think that is a strong resume for a quarterback
No
to
doubt.
win MVP?
At first, I thought you were going to go Baker Mayfield, but I pivoted there because I don't think he's that high with PFF. It's got to be Darnold.
Samuel Darnold. He's 10-1. So I've got him, like to your point about these long shots, you and I are somewhat duking it out. I've got Darnold at 80-1 to win MVP. How is he not ahead of Josh Allen? I mean, can you make the argument that he should be ahead of Jonathan Taylor in these odds? You know, why he's floating around at 10-1, given how good he has been throughout this entire season? The dude's hyper aggressive. He's throwing the ball downfield. You know, whether or not you like PFF, you look at those big time throws, as they call it, throws downfield in tight windows. He has the second most behind Matthew Stafford, leads the league in yards per attempt by a mile. He's aggressive in terms of his average depth of target, leads the league there as well. I mean, this dude's been playing very well for what could be the number one seed in the NFC.
Honestly, right now, the top 4 guys on the board in any order should be Stafford, Darnold, May, and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
And then I think there should be a big drop-off into whichever guys you want to put behind them. Probably like a Mahomes type to avoid, again, liability. Danny Dimes having a hell of a year as well. Goff, I think, should probably be up there. Lamar missed too much time, honestly. People are making the case for Jalen Hurts. I don't see it at all with the MVP.
No.
I just don't think he's going to have the numbers, but those 4 guys, and I think you could honestly make a case that Darnold should be second on the odds board.
I think so too. That's why I think like in this market, so I think we always ask the question like, all right, so like as we're looking at it then, what's the whole point of this? Like what would you play? If you don't have anything, if you're just dropping in, it's hard not to, I would even say a 3-1, because I think you're right. He should be the favorite, Matthew Stafford, at a pretty short price. And I think it's hard to turn down Sam Darnold at 10-1 if you don't have anything either.
Honestly, those are the 2 guys right now. If you don't have anything here in the race, those would be the only 2 guys I would recommend. And by the way, we're recording this on the Tuesday before Week 11, and this is one of the biggest games that we have on paper the entire year. And it's going to go a long ways, I think, towards obviously that division.
Yep. As
the Rams are hosting Seattle this week, towards playoff seeding. And there is no doubt what the narrative is going to turn into. If whoever wins the game and the quarterback who has the best game as a result, they're going to take a leap up the board here. Like if Darnold somehow outscores Stafford, you can forget about 10-1. That's going to go down to 3-1 territory at that point, and they might flip. So grabbing one or both right now, I don't hate it. Maybe you and I should do like a swap a little bit here. You can have a little bit of my May, and I can have a little bit of your Darnold.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty good. I want to talk about this. Last time I did something with you in terms of a partnership, it didn't go well for me.
What was that?
The NCAA tournament.
That was a bad one. Yeah.
Isabel told me, my wife, for our audience, we were out, and we had a couple of drinks, and she just leans in. She goes, I still can't believe Mitch did that to you. I was like, it was 6 months ago. Don't bring it up again.
What did I even do?
We talked about you mushed me in the Auburn game.
How did I mush you?
Oh, stop. We're not going to relitigate this.
JVT, I don't. My memory is so shot at this point.
You're lying.
I don't remember. Did I say good job? It's over with?
Remember when Auburn was up by like 10 at half and like the Final Four? And you texted me? You said, good job. Great win. Whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And then they blew the game.
Well, I think that's okay because that was mano a mano there. That's me versus you.
It's so stupid.
So I don't think that's one of those. If I didn't have Florida on a ticket, then I never would have done it.
Of course, yes, of course. It's totally acceptable. Anyway, as we move on, let me ask this last.
She hates me, huh?
Yes, of course.
Wow,
she benefits. She benefits. She just leaves. I can't believe out of nowhere. We weren't even talking about anything. It's just I can't believe Mitch did that to you.
Boy, she was definitely a couple drinks in then.
Oh yeah, I was like, God, you've been holding on to that for a while. Huh?
I'm definitely the reason why they collapsed.
That's right. All right, last MVP thought. Because you mentioned it in passing, it was a big performance for Jonathan Taylor, and we'll get to the Offensive Player of the Year, I think, on the other side, because there's a little bit there. Is there any shot? I mean, this doesn't seem like a particularly strong quarterback MVP class. Again, Stafford should be the favorite. Can Jonathan Taylor win this? I mean, that was huge what he did in Germany.
I mean, I would like to think that he could. I'll tell you what, we have Sal Palantonio on Follow the Money every week, and he told us 2 weeks ago he knows a lot of NFL MVP voters. They will not give it to a running back.
Why?
I don't get it. I mean, they're not human beings here. They're not playing a big part of the game. I mean, if a guy has 30 touchdowns, like rushing and receiving on the year, he can't win the award.
Like, just take that game as a microcosm. He had nearly 300 yards of their 500.
Yes.
And he scored 3 touchdowns in a game in which they scored 25 points.
Yeah, and his hands touched the ball, 30 times?
Yes.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I had somebody tweet at me because we were talking about this yesterday on Money Moves, and someone was like, the difference is Daniel Jones. And I'm sorry. Like, I think Daniel Jones is doing fine. Actually, look at his stat line, people. He's thrown 15 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He's been asked to do absolutely nothing with this offense. He's not asked to go win games. He's asked to just keep the car on the road. That's all he's asked to do, which, by the way, this is a bigger picture, not to do with futures. I think it's kind of dangerous considering they just shipped off the 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, screaming to the world that they were going to re-sign Daniel Jones this offseason.
Yep.
And I'm not entirely sure that's the best strategy. But either way, he's not an MVP. Like, this is Jonathan Taylor. This offense is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Teams are biting on play action and allowing guys to run free because of Jonathan Taylor. Like, this is absolutely wild what he's done. I don't get it. It sounds like it's the MIP thing where media members won't vote for a second-year player for most improved. So what? They just won't vote for a running back, huh?
I guess they won't vote for a reliever to win the Cy Young in Major League Baseball, which to me, I mean, a guy should be able to, if starters are having a down year across the board, a reliever, if they have historically good seasons, they should be. By the way, maybe there's something here with Danny Dimes, bigger picture too, that he could be like Sam Darnold, right? Where he's a journeyman, he finally lands with the right coach, and then voila, his career completely does a 180 and he takes off as a really good quarterback.
Yeah, could be. We'll see. I mean, we can get to Coach of the Year too, because as I made the pitch last week, if there was a time to bet against this Colts team in terms of some of the awards, it is after this bye where they have the toughest schedule in the NFL. But Steichen is also deserving a ton of credit for what he's done here at this point. All right, let's take our break. When we come back, let's build on that point when I brought up Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, the massive favorite to win that award. There is a looming question about his status for that award that I have to ask Mitch. And can anybody like Jaxson, Smith, and Jigba take it from him? We'll find out. So the looming question here, I know we just made the case that Jonathan Taylor, because these voters aren't going to give him MVP. But I want to play an exercise really quick. If he wins MVP, let's assume in this world he does he also win Offensive Player of the Year?
Oh, man. I don't think that voters give it to the same person very often.
Patrick Mahomes is the last one to do it when he won MVP in 2018.
Right.
He won both. Offensive Player of the Year and MVP.
No, they're trying to get inside the head of like a mass group of people who actually have a vote.
Yeah. That's
difficult to do. I would lean no. I think they just come up with some silly excuse like I can give them this, but I can't give them that.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Because, I mean, if you truly believe in, like, if we go down that road, I mean, if he does win MVP, then that opens the door to Jaxson, Smith, and Jigba to win Offensive Player of the Year by default almost, does it not?
Right. Are we ruling Puka out? He dropped to 22-1.
I mean, he missed time, right?
I know.
He missed time. And
probably too much.
And the 2 dudes ahead of him are just doing so much. Like, can you realistically think that outside of injury, can you make a case that he would do enough here? I mean, he'd have to go on a monster run.
Yeah, he'd have to get in the end zone a lot.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, he was catching the ball a lot for a ton of yards early on, but he was not scoring a ton of touchdowns. Like JT scoring, how many games has he had this year with 3 touchdowns?
I have to look at it.
It's like a bunch. It's multiple games already. Like, that's tough to catch up with. But I would say that there maybe is a world in which Jonathan Taylor, I mean, if he touches 30 touchdowns, maybe people come to their senses and they say, if they're the 1 seed, they say, yeah, I can't ignore this historical season that he's having, and they give him the award. If JSN sets the all-time receiving yards mark, then I think that he could slide in there and win Offensive Player of the Year.
Sure. How many would you guess that Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdown games this season?
Well, he's had at least 3, maybe 4.
4, yep. He's
4 games with 3 touchdowns.
He's had 4 games with 3 touchdowns.
Not that valuable.
At Tennessee, home versus the Raiders, at the Chargers, and then just this last weekend against the Atlanta Falcons. It's unbelievable what we have seen him do. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He's had 5 because he had 2 rushing and 1 receiving against the Titans in the second game. So he's had 5 3-touchdown games.
What?
That's at one. Yes.
So how many touchdowns does he have now on the year?
Let's see.
Is it up to like 17?
Yes, he's got 17. 15 rushing and 2
So
receiving.
15 out of the 17 came in 5 games.
Yeah.
Boy, too many games where he's not having that much of an impact.
Right. You have these loser games like against the Broncos where he didn't score a touchdown and only ran for 165 yards on 6.5 yards per carry, Mitch.
Yeah, but Broncos, their defense not that good, Cheap.
That's very true. That's a good point. That's my bad. And then another quiet performance when she ran for 123 and 5.9 per touch against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, but they barely won that game. So
yeah,
I'm with you. It's going to drive me nuts. He deserves it, and that's probably the Colts fan in me too. Like watching the guy, it's absolutely unreal. And anyway, we could talk about that forever. Go ahead.
I would say this. If you grabbed him at 60-1 a couple of weeks back or even higher numbers before the season, good for you. I would love to have that in pocket. I'm not telling people to jump in right now and bet the guy.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's hit, since we're talking Offensive Player of the Year, because there's also, obviously, with news of the week that Jaxson Dart goes down, we have to get to some of the rookies, and we got a new favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. We'll talk about that. Defensive Player of the Year, though, I know you wanted to get into this. What do we do? Is there a play? Our odds for our podcast audience listening at this point: Myles Garrett is your favorite at +160, Micah Parsons at +275, Aiden Hutchinson at 5-1, Nick Bonitto at 6-1. Then you get into the double digits: Will Anderson Jr. at 10, and Jared Verse 20-1 and on. So Myles Garrett is interesting. 5 of his 11 sacks coming in a single game in which they lost. Outside of that, some sparse production. What do we do here?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to beat him because the media loves him, and the guy does produce as well as any guy that we've had play in that position, consistently in a long, long time. He also has 17 tackles for loss, which leads the NFL from what I could gather earlier today. I'm not going to bet on Parsons. I don't think he's going to win it. Maybe Aiden Hutchinson, but I'll tell you, watching this Broncos team play, specifically on Thursday night, Nick Bonitto basically dominated that game, along with Zach Allen. So Bonitto, I have a little in pocket at 12. He's down to 6, 9.5 sacks, 48 pressures, which is one of the highest marks in the entire league, 25 hurries, 9 tackles for loss. My question to you is this. Now, Garrett won it last year, and the Browns were not a very good team, obviously, but they had a very good defense. He's the major reason why. Is this something where voters will just look at the numbers overall on the best defenses in the league and say, I can't ignore a player either on this Broncos defense or maybe this Texans defense? When I look at how many points they're giving up per game, Texans are 16.7, best in the league, followed by the Rams and the Broncos, behind it by not that much. Yards per play allowed, Broncos are number 1, Texans tied for number 2. EPA per play allowed, Texans number 1, Broncos number 2. Success rate allowed, Broncos number 1, Texans number 3. EPA per pass, they're both number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like the NBA last year where Oklahoma City easily had the best defense in the league, and they did not resort to that by saying, I got to give it to a player on the best defense in the league. I just don't know who to give it to. Instead, I'll give it to Evan Mobley, who I didn't think had any business winning the award.
Sure.
And will it be something similar here where they say, I don't have to look that way because a guy like Garrett is so good individually that he's going to have to win it?
Yeah, I think what might change voters' minds or lead them in a direction, because I think you're right, Myles Garrett individually is very good. What if the Texans somehow, I don't think they will, but a lot of people still think they're alive in the AFC South. And so what if they make this push to win the division? They would do it on the heels of this defense who's been just keeping them in every single one of these games, or not even win the AFC South. What if they just limp to like 9 wins? You know,
and get in the playoffs somehow.
Yeah, and so if they just kind of grind their way to 9 wins, all because of this defense, I think that's a really big feather in the cap of Will Anderson, essentially being the leader of a unit that has dragged one of the worst offenses in the NFL to either the postseason or the brink of the postseason.
Yeah, and also Hunter had 4 sacks for them on Sunday against Jacksonville.
Yep.
I mean, both guys, but they were in Trevor Lawrence's grill pretty much the entire time. And I'm with you. I mean, this offense, the quarterback play as a result of the bad offensive line, Stroud has no time to throw. Then he's hurt. Davis Mills comes back, rallies the team on Sunday against the Jags. The defense is this team, when you look at DVOA numbers, Aaron Schatz has been sharing this on Twitter lately. Now they're 4-5, but when they were 3-4 and then when they were 3-5, based on his historical DVOA numbers, they were one of the best 3-4 and best 3-5 teams in the history of the league. The defense is of course, yeah. Imagine if this team actually had a good offensive line, how good they could win the whole thing.
Yep.
Right? So maybe they look at that, and maybe where Anderson and Hunter are so good, they just start to compile numbers now down the second half of the season. And Hunter has 7.5 sacks, 43 pressures. Anderson has 7 sacks and 53 pressures. Mm-hmm. Maybe all those pressures and quarterback hits and hurries start to result in more sacks, and it's going to turn into Canton League numbers at the end of the day. And maybe, by the way, you could look at betting both those guys at long numbers right now to lead the league in sacks.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's a good point, too. I will say, too, just because you brought him up, and it's worth pointing out here, I do like the Bonitto pull. I mean, you mentioned the pressure numbers, the fact, obviously, that he's up there in terms of sacks. That is something that is, I think, going to be very impactful. My question for you was, do you think, I don't think this is the case. This might sound like a dumb question for our audience, but voters are weird. Do you think Surtain winning it last year affects the way they view Bonitto?
I don't.
Okay. I'm just curious, we can't give it to a guy that, that the defensive player of the year last year was on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they find these weird connections that for some reason they don't want to vote for guys.
Right. But also, no, he's hurt too.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So maybe that could help Bonitto's case here. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but again, that game in prime time against the Raiders, I mean, he was just crushing Geno Smith in the backfield on every single play. And by the way, he does that in so many games. He does have one of the quickest pressure rates in the entire league, which means he's getting to the quarterback faster than any other player, basically on the defensive line. And when he does that consistently, that means a lot as well. Bill Barnwell tracks that stuff at ESPN.com, and he was pointing that out when he gave out his awards for Defensive Player of the Year last week.
Any deeper? We going anywhere else?
Well, so I text my buddy from Denver during that game, and I said, how is Bonitto not the short shot tomorrow when we wake up to win the award? And he goes, actually, Zach Allen should be, but I get your point. Zach Allen, working on the interior for the Broncos, has 8 sacks, 41 pressures, and 19 quarterback hits.
So wild.
He's running away with some of these numbers as an interior lineman. He would be a huge long shot to either lead the league in sacks or to obviously pull off this award. And a guy like that doesn't have the name. And that sucks for him.
I think we're doing a huge disservice here, though. We should just be propagandizing the people with Byron Young stuff, considering we still have these long shots on him to win Defensive Player of the Year.
I know.
He's got 10 sacks, 35 pressures. He's the best guy in the world.
Well, and by the way, the Rams have elite numbers defensively.
Yeah, they do.
And he's a major reason why. Verse is 20, Young is 75. Verse has more pressures, but other than that, Young is right there with him or has better numbers.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Come on, no. Our guy's got to be up there a little bit more.
Yeah, let's hope that maybe if he has a huge game against Seattle, because that's going to be in the spotlight so much, and if he has a couple of sacks or a forced fumble, whatever the case, a tip and an INT, whatever, maybe that 75-1 goes down to 25-1 next week.
Sure. So I'm trying to see, okay, so how about this? You want this long shot? It'll never happen, but I got to make a case for my boy here. The 8th highest graded individual defender on a team that might be the 1 seed in the AFC. Come on down, Latu. Let's do this thing. Only 6 sacks, but 38 pressures. Like I mentioned, among qualified, if you filter out, some of the guys who don't play a lot of snaps, 8th highest graded defender, just straight out defender, not pass rusher, not anything else. 8th best defender in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. Plays a ton of snaps. He's played 405. Big reason why the Colts have been able to force as many turnovers as they have. He's been a pressure machine too. He'll never win it because I don't think he's getting the respect and the sack numbers aren't there. But worth pointing out that Latu, maybe if he goes on like a run of sacks, that he's going to find his way in here. But there are some metrics that point to him being one of the best defenders in the NFL.
Okay, very good. Also, the Seahawks, their numbers as a team are just slightly behind these others that we've talked about. But are they going to have a player? Murphy has awesome numbers, but I don't even see him on the odds board. I just think it's kind of a no-name defense, and the media probably won't recognize anybody on it.
I would agree. I mean, and think about it too. At the beginning of the year, like they had some guys like Weatherspoon and others like in and out of the lineup, and they were still just kind of churning it out and doing what they were doing. So I don't think there's really any one straw that stirs the drink there for a great unit out there in Seattle. All right, let's stay with defense. We'll take our break. On the other side, we do have a favorite now to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, a new one. Finally, Abdul Carter has slid from his status as the favorite. We'll tell you who it is. Get in the car, son. We're winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. So Matt Humans has a saying. The saying is, there's nothing worse than hope. It's Tim Murray's favorite saying as well. He's stolen it from Matt Humans, and he used it so many times that Matt now does not like the saying, there's nothing worse than hope. But Mitch, boy, do I have it. So 2 weeks ago, Carson Schlesinger gets injured. And I'm like, and in the same game, Quinshon Judkins got injured too. I have Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookie Year of the tickets, Defensive Rookie of the Year tickets on him. I'm like, come on now. I thought he was cooked. I read a report that it was going to be like maybe 4 weeks.
I read 4 to 6.
Yep. And then sure enough, he's back out there, baby. And after a big game, our boy's 2-1 in the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming.
No, not at all.
So he had, again, a bad Browns team in a loss in which he had good numbers overall. He skyrocketed back up the odds board now and is the short shot.
Yep.
That guy kind of tells you that with some of these awards, in fact, most of them, playoffs really don't matter.
Yeah. What's interesting too, these awards, yes. I always love this dynamic in terms of just the games. And again, I know people don't really like him that much, but I think it's worth pointing out. He had one of his better all-around games if you look at just the base numbers. Like, he's not a big pressure guy, but he generated 3 pressures, actually had a sack, quarterback hit, a hurry as well. He had 3 tackles, 3 assists, and a missed tackle. PFF actually, for Browns defenders, rated him in that game as the 18th ranked defensive grade for the Browns in that game. Like, they did not grade him well. And a lot of it had to do, I think, with his coverage and the way that he was playing. He also missed about 4 or 5 tackles, according to them.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think there's a correlation between PFF grades and awards at all.
Right, and that's what I'm interested in is, like, we do like to cite these because I think they're a good catch-all number. I also think, too, I mean, you talk about these awards, and sometimes they're just all over the place. Like we talked about MVP maybe being a reflection of liability, all these sort of deals. How in the world are you accurately gauging Defensive Rookie of the Year from an odds standpoint? Like, do we truly believe Carson Schlesinger, I hate that last name, Schlesinger, is the favorite to win this? Because I would think it is kind of a crapshoot to accurately judge what this market really should look like.
Oh, I would hate to make the odds for this market. Yes. I would honestly hate it. But that makes it, I think, a good thing for people like us and guys who like to bet on it, right?
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, overall, he is having a hell of a season, and his numbers, a lot of the numbers do lead the league in terms of rookies overall, and that might be what voters go on when they look at it. I will point out a couple of guys to take a peek at. Now, I bet this player after we did last week's pod, and I couldn't help it because the odds were not quite out yet on him, but it was Walter Nolan, 75-1 for Arizona. He had a huge game on Monday night against the Cowboys and picked up some steam after that game. Wasn't good for that ticket after what happened on Sunday against Seattle. So let me give you a couple of other guys right now to keep your eye on, because like you, I also have Schlesinger, 35-1 before the season. He's a guy that I started the whole portfolio with in this market.
He's Carson from now on.
Carson. Okay. Carson S. From Carson the Browns. So the NFL announced their players of the month for October. And they do AFC, they do NFC, they do special teams. They also do rookies of the month. Jaxson Dart got it offensively for the Giants. Defensively, Ravens outside linebacker Teddy Buchanan was named Defensive Rookie of the Month for October. He has 69 tackles on the year, 36 solo, a half a sack, 5 stuffs against Minnesota. He had 6 tackles and 1 forced fumble. So he is third among all rookies in solo tackles, and his combined numbers rank first overall. He has 16 defensive stops, which ranks fourth, and that means it's a tackle that constitutes a failure for the offense. Our boy, Carson S. from the Browns, is first with 25 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And Buchanan is 100-1. I grabbed a little bit of that. I think actually he might be down, as of right now, one book has him posted at 50. But I'd be on the lookout for him today. If he posts again higher than 50, I think maybe worth a grab. And the other player to maybe look for, and Barnwell was really singing his praises in his column, was cornerback Jacob Parrish for Tampa Bay. Now, they lost again, but again, I don't think playoffs or the team's overall win-loss record has much to do with this award. Parrish is in the 75 or 100-1 range. I have not dabbled on him yet, but I thought it was worth pointing out that Buchanan got that award and also had a really good game against Minnesota.
Yeah. So I like those a lot because I did want to add a name to this as well. I think, have you brought him up before? I mean, right now I'm looking at, I haven't said his name yet. You're like, yes, I have. Donovan Ezeraku's 13-1.
I have not brought him up, but he's got some pretty good numbers.
Yep. He's 13-1 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. The start to his career has been pretty dominant. If you look at it among rookies, he is second in total pressures behind Abdul Carter with 22. He's only got 2 sacks. PFF grades him pretty highly as well. He's actually the second highest graded defensive player by PFF. Again, we kind of dispelled that either way. But he's been a good edge rusher, 9 quarterback hits, 11 hurries. His tackles are up there as well for an edge player that's predominantly kind of used as a pass rusher. He's been really pretty good for the Dallas Cowboys. I do wonder if his team's success hurts him, but I don't think it would. And he is largely being talked about as, like, you just look up some of the data on him. It is definitely being noticed by a lot of people that Ezeraku is having a very strong start to his season.
Yeah, so I want to go back to the point you made 30 seconds ago. This is where I'm very curious because we're talking about Carson S. The Browns are not a good football team, but they have a very good defense. So would voters ignore the win-loss record? Here you go with the Cowboys, a non-playoff team, with right there with the Bengals as the worst 2 defenses in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
Can you justify giving an award for Defensive Rookie of the Year on a unit that is hot garbage overall? And that's my conundrum with it.
I mean, I think you can. Like, if I had a vote, especially given like the mechanics of football, how does a rookie impact in general the overall team success? You know what I mean? Like, am I really going to dock Donovan Ezeraku as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate because his slot corner just got beat?
I mean, I don't disagree.
I
would think that as an individual award here for a rookie, right? I don't think you should probably factor in team success on that side of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, so this is an easy transition. I mean, look at Offensive Rookie of the Year. Jaxson Dart's team stinks. And before he got concussed over the weekend, he was the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I think that was a generally accurate market. But he is in danger of missing this next game. What do we do we just bet him? If he's only going to miss one game and come back, like, shouldn't he still win this?
Well, do you think that he would have drifted out to where he is right now if he never got concussed? The answer to that is clearly no, because they don't lose that game if he doesn't get concussed.
He was killing them, dude.
Killing them. The Bears didn't have a solution for him. The Bears were not going to come back and win that game.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than 2-8, the Giants would be 3-7, and he'd be healthy for a Packers game coming up this weekend, a game in which I would have a boatload of money on the Giants playing at home because the look-ahead number was Green Bay -7. I think the Giants could win that game, and he would probably run away with this award.
Yep.
Now, it's going to be tough for him because quarterbacks in the concussion protocol, when they leave a game, they generally do not come back and play the next week. And in fact, there's a chance then where he might miss the game against the Lions. And I would have to also throw this out there, trying to get it in the head of the Giants organization who just fired Brian Daboll on Monday. If he misses this game against Green Bay, I don't think they're going to win that game with Russell Wilson. He can't play a lick. Let's assume for a second they drop to 2-9. Then you have the Lions on the road on deck. You have your franchise quarterback. You found the guy, right? This dude is marvelous at the position. You already lost Neighbors this year, season ender. You lost Cam Scatterbo, season ender. You have a very bright future on that side of the ball. Why would you rush Jaxson Dart back at all to play any more football this year? on a guy who had so many design runs, and he's been in the concussion protocol 4 times now already, and he hasn't even played the full season. Again, I'm trying to think like they would. If that's the case, there's no way I would bet them. But I don't know if they're going to act like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they will. We see this all the time. I mean, Joe Burrow's back at practice, right? And I know we're talking about rookie, but I think just the general thought of how teams handle this. Joe Burrow's back at practice. You know, you're already starting to hear hey, Joe Burrow. Like, who cares? Like, the season's over. Why would you even think about bringing him back?
I would say the difference there is that maybe the Bengals think they can make the playoffs.
But we do this again, but the difference, I don't know, I don't think they can. I think the season is lost.
I don't think so either.
Right.
Yeah.
But my whole point here is like, even with the season all but lost, teams will still try to do this. And I think the excuse, the baked-in excuse for a guy like Jaxson Dart is, well, we want him to get reps, right? We want him to face live action, and we want, even in a lost season, you can actually work on a ton of stuff. Like, I always go back to the Peyton Manning story, where in his first year, he threw 21 interceptions, but part of that was like the coaching. Like, I can't remember what doc it was, but he talked about it. It was like, no, like, this was the year. Like, we're going to test this out. Fire those balls. Try to fit them into those windows. Experiment with what you can do. Learn what NFL Open is. You're going to throw a ton of picks, but you're going to learn from it. And even in a lost year, we're going to have you play all these snaps. And then sure enough, it kind of worked out. Not that Jaxson Dart is going to be Peyton Manning, but it's just you want to get your guy out there. And I think that's the logic they're going to take. Look at the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Talk about, hey, bringing him back here. He could come back. And an all but lost season, we're going to fight to see if he can come back from this injury. I think teams just do this all the time, even though there's really no clear objective to it.
Well, and they probably will, because they're going to screw this entire thing up, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rhyme or reason to fire Brian Daboll, but bring the GM back. The GM is the reason why the Giants are where they're at right now.
Yes.
Much more so than Brian Daboll, in my opinion. And number 2, Russell Wilson should not even be in the league. Like, if you want to try to win these games at this point, which makes no sense to me, just fold and get a better draft pick next year. Wilson can't play a lick. How is Jameis Winston not the backup quarterback and now the starter for the team?
Maybe that's what they're trying to do, though.
But then I wouldn't bring Dart back.
Yeah, right. No, you're right. But like, what if they're like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. Dart's in. Like, put Russell in there. We got to lose these games.
Then Russell Wilson should be named the starting quarterback for the rest of the year.
They should announce it right now. By the way, quick note: this is not futures related, but you said something. What happened in that game that made Daboll fireable now? You know what I mean? Like, Dart was doing well, and they were picking him apart. They're up 17-7, and then he gets hurt, and then they end up losing the game because their offense does nothing, and they blow it. I understand they've had a bunch of blown leads with like 10 minutes left. I think it's like their third one in which they've led by 10 and then lost the game in the last 4 minutes this season. But what changed? Like, what about that result was like, yep, that's it. It made no sense to me at all.
Was it that Dart got hurt? So
yeah,
results based on that. Can't have this guy getting hurt. So he's got to go. By the way, here's a prediction for you. Brian Daboll will probably be an OC next year in the league somewhere. I don't see this guy as a media guy. I think he wants to be he's a great offensive mind. Brian Daboll, if he goes to the right spot, right, he will get another head coaching job. And if he's with the right organization as a quarterback, he will turn that team into, he'll be a really good head coach in his second turn. The Giants have just been lost now for more than a decade.
I'm going to call my shot right now. This is my Babe Ruthian moment as we go to break. You ready for this? Brian Daboll will make Anthony Richardson a star in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That's it?
No, okay. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. Like, would Pittsburgh ever get rid of Mike Tomlin? I mean,
no. I'm talking about they're going to fire R. Smith, and he's going to bring in Daboll as his offensive coordinator, and they're going to get Anthony Richardson, and they're going to ask Daboll, hey, remember that thing you did with Josh Allen? Do that here. Yeah. And like, please see if we can get this done with Richardson, who we're going to get on the cheap.
Yeah, and that thing that you did with Danny Dimes that 1 year, and what you were doing with Jaxson Dart in his rookie season. Yeah, that'd be a good landing spot for him as the OC next year.
Yep. Yeah, but I'm with you too. I don't know if you explicitly said it, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I kind of feel like he didn't deserve to be fired. I don't think it was like the best situation. And I'm with you. When he lands somewhere outside of this Ruthian call, I think he's going to be very good. Right.
Like, if he goes to Tennessee, I'm not going to tell you watch out for the Titans, because who knows, the organization might screw it up every year. But if he goes to the right spot with a competent quarterback, Brian Daboll is going to make it work.
Yep.
I'm quite confident in that. And to me, the GM had to go first and foremost. That was number one. But again, it's the New York Giants, and they continue to screw it up every single time.
All right. On the other side, we're going to wrap. I have one big NFL question for Mitch, and I think I saw a number, and I could not believe that this is what was said. So before I answer my own question and tell you what was shocking to me, Mitchell, I'm going to ask you the power dynamic between the AFC and the NFC. How do you view it?
Oh, my God. The NFC is absolutely loaded to the gills. And the AFC, I trust maybe one team, and that would be the Chiefs.
Yep.
Assuming that they're going to get into the playoffs because of the 8 seed right now. I don't like a lot of the AFC. I absolutely love the NFC.
So I was being a little hyperbolic in teasing this. There is odds up, obviously, for a AFC, NFC, Super Bowl line. AFC is a 1-point favorite. About by it's like minus 115 on the money line here. Would you not favor the NFC? Because even with Kansas City, like you just said, and I'm guilty of it too, the argument for Kansas City is not based on like statistical reason. It is, they've done it and I trust them, which I think is fine to do. But I don't think they're better than any of the powers in the NFC. I don't know if they're better. I actually don't think they're better than Seattle. Are they better than Detroit? I know they beat them. Like some of these teams at the top of the NFC, I think that even Kansas City should be considered a dog if you were to remove the experience factor from it.
Okay, so I'll make KC a 1-point favorite over the following teams. Philadelphia, Seattle, Detroit, and the Rams.
Really?
No, I'm asking you, what do you do if I'm the sports book and I make KC a 1-point favorite in those games?
So I would take Philly. I think Philly deserves to be favored.
I would take Philly.
I would take the Rams. I would think that the Rams deserve to be favored. And Seattle is where you kind of get me because, again, it's just I have that, like as much as I just sang his praises 30 minutes ago, this Sam Darnold in a playoff situation, like I don't know, but their defense is so good. I would balk at that. And I think Detroit and Kansas City is more like a pick. I think those are two very similar teams, almost like equals to each other. Just it's the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
Right.
And
so
I would say that there's probably a pick in that situation.
Yeah, and I think you're probably right. There's no way, as of right now, the Chiefs should be a 1-point favorite over Philadelphia or the Rams. I would like to say that about Seattle, but again, like experience, what does that matter overall? Darnold in a big game like that. And I think the Lions, man, if you made KC one over the Lions, I would be very tempted to take Detroit.
Yeah.
Now you're getting into teams like Tampa, Green Bay, Chicago, San Francisco. The Chiefs would be favored over those teams. But if you eliminate Kansas City from that discussion, how many other teams in the AFC would be favored over Baltimore? Because you have to assume that they're playing red-hot football at that time to make it.
And I will say, because that was going to be my thing, is the last 2 games do look pretty good. Like, I don't even think that final score was indicative of that victory over the Vikings. They controlled that game the whole time. They started, I think, 0 for 4 in the red zone. They just could not get it in for whatever reason. They beat the doors off Minnesota this last weekend. So they look like the team we all expected them to be coming out of this bye and healthy and ready to go. They're finally looking like, and I know you and I both said this, I had Baltimore as my best team in the NFL coming into the year. I think they actually just might be that.
So that would be the other team that would be favored then, probably. Maybe not against all those teams, but against a handful of them, right? I don't think your Colts would be favored. That's not going to happen. Denver and Bo Nix. Now, if they make the Super Bowl, their power rating is going to go up, but do you want Bo Nix or Philadelphia? Do you want Bo Nix or the Rams? I'd take Seattle. I'd take a bunch of teams against Denver as a 1-point dog.
I would I'd break in real quick, and there's a reason why I'm going to bring this up, but I'd break in real quick and say, if Sauce Gardner's addition really does turn this Colts defense around a little bit, I mean, he had a drop pick 6 when he broke in on that play against Atlanta over the weekend. I was watching some film of him. Like, he was really good defensively in that game. If that does lead to a defensive turnaround and a team which is very opportunistic when it comes to pressures and sacks and turnovers actually becomes good to good on it, or to be good on a down-to-down basis, there's a chance the Colts could be one of those teams that's favored in a couple of those matchups, but that's just assuming the defense takes a really strong step forward over the course of what is going to be the hardest schedule to close the season in the NFL.
Right. The Bills' power rating has been ultra high, by the way, for a long time as well.
Yeah.
but I don't think the Bills would be favored over. There's no way they're favored over Philadelphia. And by the way, we're talking about raising the power rating on these teams that come out of the AFC. Well, what about the team that comes out of the NFC?
Yeah.
And the path that they might have to go through. So what are we talking about with a power rating through a team that might have to beat a combination of all those teams at the very top? Jesus. I don't see it. The NFC has to be favored right now.
Yeah. I mean, yes. So I would agree. So the reason why I bring this up, I brought this up to Dave and Jensen when I joined them on Tuesday morning. If you look at the odds in the AFC, any one of these teams that we're talking about, I don't think you would be shocked if you're looking at the Los Angeles Chargers, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts. If I told you any of these teams in the AFC won the conference, you wouldn't be surprised at all. So why would I not take a flyer on the Chargers at 11-1? Why are we not investing more in the Ravens at plus 650 to win the AFC? That to me is, you take any of these teams, pull them in a hat, throw them in a hat, shake it up, and pull one out. I don't think anybody would be stunned that that is the team that represents the AFC, which to me means like I kind of want to take the two teams that stuck out to me, and I already have some Chargers 8-1 to win the AFC, so I'm not going to double up. But like Ravens at plus 650 is ultimately where I land here. How is that not the play coming out of this weekend, given what we know about the conference?
Yeah, and they were around 11-1 still when Lamar came back a couple of weeks back.
Yep.
Can the Patriots come out of the AFC? That was a hell of a win against Tampa Bay on the road.
It was. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, who can they not really beat? There's no power at all that I would put them in like, outside of Baltimore. Like if they have to play Baltimore, but the assumption there would be Baltimore has to go to New England, so that's going to help you a little bit because I don't think they're going to slip to the point where they fall out. Baltimore might. If somehow you blow the division, you might have to go to Baltimore to play them. So I shouldn't assume that that's the case. But like I don't think there's anybody the Patriots can't really beat at all.
I'll tell you, the Texans with that defense, if they make the playoffs.
That's your lottery ticket, man. That's 35-1. Yep.
I'm very concerned. I mean, you have to be just like deathly afraid of the offensive line, and maybe they're not good enough to do patchwork for the rest of the year. But if you told me right now that that unit was going to improve as much as any unit in the league over the next last half of the season, the Texans could do the same thing. Their defense is just so good, right? And by the way, on the Patriots note, offensive rookie of the year quickly here. Is TreVeyon Henderson going to steal this? That Gary brought that up to me on X on Monday morning.
Ooh.
He said, "Don't tell me Henderson at 50-1 in that range is going to come out of nowhere, come from the clouds as a long shot here, as they say in horse racing, to steal this offensive rookie of the year."
Was he the way he had the big touchdown run coming out of the half, right?
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah. That was incredible. It was like a bullet.
Yeah,
out of a gun. Like all of a sudden you're just like, holy smokes, like this dude's gone.
Right. And maybe he takes it's got to be his backfield now. There's no Stevens has been dinged up. Henderson's got to be the guy. He's out of the doghouse. And so if he just turns into a monster down the stretch.
Sure.
I'm very leery about this award just because I'm sitting pretty in the market right now.
Sure.
And I have that ticket on Egbuka at 50-1. But crazier things have happened, obviously.
Is there a team in the NFC that you think is worth investing in at this point right now?
I think I'm going to regret not having anything on Seattle.
Yeah, that's got to be the one.
That's the one to me.
Yeah, they're plus 425. I mean, yeah.
I can't do it just because the NFC is so stacked.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be surprised if Philadelphia comes out of this thing again. I can't be. The Lions are
Philly,
awesome.
By the way. I mean, I think the addition of Jalen Phillips was brilliant. And
what a debut.
Yes. So if you look at what Philly can be, because one of their biggest issues was obviously the second quarterback spot. Like if Adoree Jackson's playing meaningful snaps for you at corner, that's a little bit of a problem. So how do you mask that? You go and get edge rushers who can actually do something for you. And I mean, Jalen Phillips was great. What do you have? They ended up with 6 total tackles, 4 solo. He had a big tackle for a loss, 2 quarterback hits. Like he was all over the place. And you put him along that defensive line. I mean, that's a defensive line that is akin to the one that won them the Super Bowl last year.
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, none of us would be surprised if Philadelphia wins this league again.
Yep.
And the NFC is absolutely stacked, as we just talked about. I'm drawing a line through Green Bay. And I'm not saying that because they lost that game last night. I'm telling you that I brought it up on this podcast last week. To miss the playoffs, they were plus 365. Today, they are 3-1 to miss. I would stock up. I would load up on this if Darnold was not going to miss the game.
Right. I would agree with you. I mean, especially, who knows what's going to happen for the 49ers, but I mean, that's going to be something too. with this 49ers team in terms of getting healthy and finally getting some of these wins. But all right.
By the way, let me get this. I think I have time quickly to run some of these numbers down to the pack. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan Love lost his third game this year when the Packers did not allow more than 16 points. Peyton Manning was 89-0 when his team allowed 17 points or fewer in a game. That was back all the way in February of 2016.
All right. Like, rate, review, subscribe. We're up against it. We'll talk to you next week on Pod to the Futures.